some of our own exciting news. Being added to the cast of Cutscene Convos is Josh, aka Crumb Season, here to give us our first of many gaming monthly updates. Welcome, Josh.
Thank you very much for having me. Looking forward to covering all video game news and reviews for each month. Obviously, we're in February at the minute, so we're a little bit behind. Got a few catching up to do, and then going forward, like I say, going over everything each month. What people should be playing, what people maybe shouldn't be playing. Con, we'll get to you at some point.
I was going to say, this is just an excuse to whine Con off about his video game choices.
This is just going to be another segment where I get angry at stuff. Because we don't have enough of them.
Right, I'm kicking things off with a round robin. It's something I like to ask everyone.
Go on.
What is your favourite game of all time?
Of all time?
Right.
Yep, you can only pick one.
Oh, no.
Off the dome, what comes to you straight away?
My brother in Christ, I've played so
What comes to me straight away? Halo 3.
Okay, see, that's the thing. You got to pick what comes to you straight away. Because deep down in your subconscious, that is your favourite.
The original Lego Star Wars.
That's a solid shout. I respect it.
That might just be the first video game I really remember playing. Like that might be why it came to me first.
Arguably, it's a good shout. Mine, recency bias might play a little part, but God of War Ragnarok is just the goat. The goat.
Yeah, you can't beat Halo 3.
Yeah, unfortunately, Josh is a bit of a Sony fanboy.
Well, we do one thing you know about me, and it will come up each month in conversation. I do not condone console wars.
No,
console wars are dead. What you're on about? It's all over.
I have switched alliances many a times. I now own both. I sit on the fence. Both have pros and cons, so no arguments, please.
There's no console war. It's PC Master Race only.
Or just have all three, mate. And just live the best.
Yeah,
of both worlds.
All I'm missing at the minute is a Nintendo Switch, and then I can play, I believe, anything in the entire world.
So I'm on all ecosystems at the minute. I play PC and Game Pass on the PC, PlayStation, and a Switch. So any game that comes out, I'm ready. Absolutely ready.
Right. What did we miss in January, Josh?
So January was actually quite a good month for releases. December was fairly quiet. Obviously, we had the Game Awards, but no actual. Obviously, Avatar came out early December, I want to say, but apart from that, there wasn't much else. Scoring wise and notable games for January, we had Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown, which scored an 86 on Metacritic. Like a Dragon: Infinite Wealth from the Yakuza series, which got an 89 on Metacritic. And Tekken 8 came out 90 rated on Metacritic. So as you can see, there are some bangers coming out. I'm assuming you haven't played any of those free games, both of you.
No. I was looking at Prince of Persia because one of my early games I remember, I want to say from the original Xbox, was Prince of Persia: Sands of Time.
Sands of Time.
I had that on PSP.
The classic, yeah.
And I adored that game. That game was so much fun. I enjoyed like the time rewinding kind of playfulness of that. So when I saw that there was a new Prince of Persia game, I was like, I might have to keep an eye on that and see if it's worth copying.
So this one's a little bit different to the original Sands of Time. This one's actually a 2D sort of open world / action platformer / Metroidvania, but it's a beautiful art style, and it's actually the game I recommend you play out of those three. It's a mixture of sort of fast-paced combat / parkour because of all the platforming elements and stuff like that. So it's very different to what you would have played Prince of Persia wise in the past. I don't actually know if you've seen any footage of it or anything.
I don't think I have actually.
I saw it was a 2D side scroll, and that was about it.
Yeah, it was I think it was shown at a couple of showcases. I'm not 100% sure which, possibly a Sony one from last year. But it's available on all platforms. How Long to Beat says it's a 16-hour story, 30 hours if you're going for the completionist.
Awesome.
And I think it's about 35, 40 quid. So for a 30-hour game, it's not too bad. Available on all platforms. It's one I definitely recommend.
Awesome.
And I have missed it off my notes, but I do want to throw out a shout out to Palworld, which took over gaming.
It
really did.
January. Obviously, us lot have been playing it quite a bit. We've got our own server up and running. And despite all the possible legal problems, that game has been an absolute blast. I'm sure you'll both agree.
Yeah, no, it's
no legal issues. What are you on about?
Well.
It's a completely new design for a game.
Nintendo being as litigious as they are, the fact that they haven't officially filed anything yet, I think, is a sign that they're probably struggling to find good grounds. Especially bearing in mind that the company that made Palworld are also based in Japan, which makes it so much easier.
They would have, if they were going to file anything, they would have done it while it was still in development. Plus, because it's
Absolutely.
IP law, they'd have to do it on each individual PAL design. And the only thing I think they've done anything about is that, I don't know if you two saw the teaser of the Pokemon mod for it.
Yes, they
Yeah,
struck
that got
down
shut down.
That
very
guy got
quickly.
an instant email saying, "Do not make this into a thing."
So, but that's my point. The speed at which that happened,
Yeah.
I'm like, if they really had strong grounds, I feel like we would have already heard
Oh
something.
yeah, they would have done.
I feel like Xbox putting it out on Game Pass, like they would have looked into all the legalities before, and they would have been confident. Otherwise, no chance it would have ended up on Xbox platforms.
Exactly, it's exactly that.
But yeah, moving on to Feb. It's quite a busy month this month. Notable games. God, we will be coming to you in a moment because Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League has got a 59 on Metacritic. Absolutely measly. Helldivers 2 came out for PC and PS5
Cracking
on the 8th
game.
of February, which has got a 83 on Metacritic. Yesterday, as we're recording this, Tomb Raider Remastered 1 through 3, if you played those back in the day. Shout out to you. That's sitting on a 78 currently on Metacritic. Skull and Bones, which I can't believe is actually going to come out, is
Skull and
supposedly...
Bones, is that not the one that got announced like unironically 10
Like,
years ago?
has been
yeah.
cancelled about 52 times.
It's been stuck in development hell and was meant to be essentially the best bits of Assassin's Creed Black Flag that everyone loved.
Yeah, I think the last thing I remembered hearing about this was it had been cancelled.
It should have just got shelved.
It's supposedly coming out tomorrow.
Oh,
we'll have to wait and
there's-
see.
Did
there's
you know
a very,
though?
very small history of stuff that goes through that much trouble ending well.
Yeah, but according to Ubisoft, it's a quadruple A game.
A quadruple A.
Yeah.
What
This
was
is
it?
Ubisoft, mate.
What's
That was
that
their
extra A for agony.
That's the reasoning for why it costs 70 quid.
Which is frustrating because Ubisoft
that's not a
have
joke.
made Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown, which I was recommending earlier. So they can put out good games. I'm a huge Assassin's Creed fanboy. But
understand.
This one I probably won't be playing myself. But it's one to keep an eye out in the news. And finally, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth coming out on the leap year, 29th of Feb. That's just going to be a critical banger. That is going to get low 90s, mid 90s on Metacritic, I'd imagine. Obviously,
Never
huge.
played the Final Fantasy games.
Obviously, it's confusing.
Like
There's
one?
But I just feel like
we're up to 16 at the minute.
Yeah, it's this huge genre that seems to get a million re-releases, and there's so many individual games. And I'm just like, I have never actually met anyone who loves the Final Fantasy series.
I have. It's people usually have like specific ones they like.
Yeah, Final Fantasy VII / remake is generally the most loved one.
Is Final Fantasy 13 a really popular one as well?
Yeah, it's something like 11
or 14 is an online game. I think it might be 14.
Oh, okay.
I think 11 was quite a popular one.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's
fair
like
enough.
specific ones people like.
I just don't understand how you can have this many games that have final in the title.
FF. I'm not good with Roman numerals either, so I'm absolutely chalked. But yeah, that is likely going to do numbers, so keep an eye out for that one. But there's only one person here who has actually played the 59 scoring game on Metacritic, which is Suicide Squad. Con, do you want to give us a quick breakdown on your experience with Suicide Squad?
So what I will say is Suicide Squad, before I even got it, I had a very mixed relationship with. Because obviously it's coming out of Rocksteady, it's set in the Arkhamverse. You're instantly expecting the Batman Arkham style of games. And then they announced it wasn't like that. And I was like, I'm not sure. And then they're like, oh, it's a live service looter-shooter game. And I'm like, oh, I really don't know. And at that point, I'd like put it down. I was like, there's no way I'm going to ever touch that. That doesn't sound good at all. But then I started to see actual gameplay of it. And it is not a world-beating game. I'm not going to lie and say it is. But for what it is, like, as a looter shooter, you get to do cool stuff with characters. The guarantee of a year of new stuff being added at least. I love it. It's great. It's a lot of fun. On a scale of 0 to 100, I'd probably have it sitting anywhere from like 60 to 70 is where I'd have it. So I don't think like we're outrageously low here.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
But I think the traversal mechanics for each of the characters are quite unique. A lot of fun. I think the opportunity they have with adding more Justice League members as bigger boss fights and adding new villains with unique play styles are huge. But it's a very particular style of like repetitive grind game, and if you don't like them styles of games, you're not going to like it. I enjoy it about as much as I enjoyed the Division 2.
Okay, Division 2's reviewed fairly well. It's not got the biggest fan base, but
I do think the big issue that we're having is IGN have got a grudge against this game. And even though a lot of people like ourselves know that IGN can't always be trusted, they are, I would say, the largest face in the gaming world.
For sure.
So for IGN to just be putting out slam piece after slam piece because they've got a personal grudge, I think has really hurt this game's reputation. Unfairly.
While you're discussing that, I am actually going to check what IGN gave it. I'm pretty sure.
They gave it
I mean,
3.
There's a few people I watch that like I trust their opinions, and their biggest gripe was more just the end of the game and how the story ended out. And then it's like,
yeah, but
it felt like it was a bit lacking to like the story wasn't closed out because they wanted it to be a live service game.
I accept that to a point. Counterpoint, the character interactions and raw story up until that end point where they do have to make it a live service game is better than the Spider-Man 2 story.
I mean,
as a pure storytelling perspective.
I think hearing people say that, it's just like this whole obsession that studios have with live service games needs to chill out.
My only issue,
Sony, please listen.
My only issue with it as a live service game is there is no option for playing offline.
Yeah.
Right, so that was one of the issues.
Completely solo by myself. No one else I know is playing it, and you know me, I don't play with randoms online.
Yeah.
I would like to be able to play in an offline server by myself. That's my only real issue.
Yep. So that was one of the main issues that Kind of Funny pointed out. So, Hori, I don't know if you've seen when you're playing online, once you sort of finish a mission, it comes up with all 4 characters and your names and gives you a breakdown of who done best and stuff like that. It does the same even when you're playing on your own. So it sort of like breaks up the fluidity, and I think that was a major gripe of a lot of people because obviously at the end of the chapter you'll just get stats for yourself, which isn't really needed. I've just looked. IGN have given it a 5. I think the only thing, like you say, it has got going for it is the roadmap that's been put out. Obviously, there will be new characters, new story beats. It's just how many people are going to stick with it.
It didn't need to be in the Arkhamverse, and it didn't need to be a 100% always online game. I think you change them 2 things. I think this game does a lot better, and they are very fair gripes to have.
Yep, fair enough. I think it's one that I'm going to be missing out personally. Hori, I'm pretty convinced that you won't be touching it.
I won't be touching it. I'm now locked into Helldivers. It's so good.
Yep, I've been watching a lot of Kind of Funny playing it in various outlets, and I haven't played Helldivers 1, but Helldivers 2 actually looks really good.
It's actually like completely different play mechanics to Helldivers 1. Same concept, but like this is now a third person. You drop in,
Viewers,
and
this probably means I'm going to be forced to buy this game.
I would say it's worth the money.
What is it? How much is it?
34.
Yeah, I want to say about 34, 35 quid.
In the modern gaming world, is it bad that I don't even view that as a lot of money?
Exactly. And I would also say, speaking of live service games, this game's doing it in a way that I actually think is a good live service system. So it's like you squad up to 4 of you, you drop onto planets and you do the missions. But actually, as a whole player base for the game, you are all collectively pushing towards certain so there's 2 factions you're fighting. You can see the entire player base's progress in pushing these factions back. So it's like all players can be like, oh, we're all gonna you've seen it on Twitter and TikTok, people are like, go fight bugs, we're gonna push the bugs back. And then today the devs have been like, oh, here's an event, the Robot Faction are now like super aggressive, and you need to go focus on them. And they're doing like live service events.
So also what I'm seeing is I've searched it on Steam and it's saying similar to games you've played, Suicide Squad.
Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
It's a good
I
thing. You
don't-
just heard. I like it.
Know how that works, but
I assume
it's a lot of fun.
Person, live action.
Yeah, possibly.
Third person, just run around shooting shit.
But yeah, it is a good game. I definitely
So-
recommend.
I'm telling you right now, though, if I buy this game, play it, and I genuinely think it's very similar to Suicide Squad, after you guys have just been sucking this game off and giving Suicide Squad shit, your opinions mean nothing.
I've not played it. Me and my friend
I will die on this hill.
predict. We have a spreadsheet where we predict all the Metacritic scores for games throughout the year. I predicted an 81. This one, it's got an 80. Currently sitting on an 83. So it's better than expected. No IGN score out yet, so God knows what they're going to give it. But
Oh, who cares?
fair enough. Right, moving on. Topic of the pod. I'm sure both of you would have heard this one.
Yes.
Audience, I'm not 100% sure. Disney have invested 1.5 billion into Epic Games, and I quote from Andrew Webster from The Verge. Disney and Fortnite maker Epic Games are teaming up to build what's been described as an expansive and open games entertainment universe. As part of the announcement, Disney revealed that it is investing 1.5 billion equity in Epic. End quote. So,
Christ
where do
alive.
we even start with that?
Christ alive. Can we just... I'm just going to take this opportunity to shit on Bob Iger again.
Always.
Bob Iger is the guy who shut down the LucasArts gaming subsection and all of that stuff that Disney had that were pumping out bangers because he didn't see the value in making games, and now he's gone and spent 1.5 billion to buy into Epic because the gaming industry is huge. This guy's a dumb motherfucker. How is he the CEO of this company?
Controversial to I actually think he shut down Lucas because they were doing this.
They shut down Lucasfilm years ago, though, didn't they?
It wasn't all that long ago, but think how long they've been involved with Fortnite through partnerships.
Yeah.
This has definitely been something that is in the works for a long time, or talks. Wouldn't
It just
surprise me.
seems like they want the money for video games without making video games.
Oh yeah,
That's what
100%.
it seems like.
What do you reckon this is actually going to bring? What games, or is it going to be
See,
stuff inside of Fortnite? What do you reckon it's going to be?
My prediction is they're essentially going to build like Disneyland and Universal. They're like what they have as the parks with like Star Wars Galaxy and all the different areas. They're essentially going to build that in Fortnite, but it'll be like little fun gaming experiences you can do in each of their like brands.
Sort of like similar to the Lego collaboration. That was,
Yes.
like,
Yes.
What was that, December?
Yeah, and also I think what you're going to end up getting is a lot of the Marvel related games that are already planned and the Star Wars games that are already planned. If you buy them on Epic's platform, you're going to get freebies in Rocket League and Fortnite and stuff to go alongside that to make it a better financial proposition to buy them already planned games on Epic's platform.
Yeah, there's going to be some tie-in with like games that they bring
Absolutely.
out.
Yeah,
I do
100%.
think we'll get a couple of games that Epic makes specifically, but whether that is just Epic
I hope
working very closely with a separate studio or Epic themselves making the game, I don't know. We'll
Can
have to
Epic-
I'd
get
imagine
more
Epic would
information.
outsource it, maybe. I think the moneymaker is
It's a-
going to be in Fortnite, like
Absolutely.
Corey, you say. I think there are going to be worlds within Fortnite, microtransactions. That's where the money
pod
is.
racing. Give me a new.
That
It's
would be
too,
sick.
too many
I mean-
years. Give me a pod racing game.
Well, they've already got the base with their racing game. That
With
they
the
built
racing
into
game
Fortnite.
within, yeah.
Just you could add.
Give me
Star
pod
Wars,
racers.
a Marvel level straight into that.
So I did read from an article, I can't remember who, that everything sort of moving forward will be in Unreal Engine. So they've got the basis of the stuff that you're wanting, Harry.
Hmm.
Are they going to
Hopefully.
do it is the question.
Yeah,
We've got to see how they'll
isn't it
capitalise
always?
on that. Any final remarks on the huge 1.5
Well,
million?
it's just so much
injection.
money, isn't it? Bearing in mind, Bob Iger's thrown this money at Epic after claiming that writers shouldn't have a house.
I will say Epic should reinvest that in maybe protecting their staff, but you know.
Yeah. If I see loads more layoffs from Epic, I'm going to lose my fucking.
I think
mind.
layoffs anywhere. I think we could have a whole episode on
Yeah.
the amount of people who've been let off,
Fucking
unfortunately, within
terrifying.
the last 2 years in the gaming industry. We'll try and keep the morale high for now. Right, discussion of the pod to round out February's gaming segment, and that is, will Xbox exclusives branch out to different consoles? As we speak right now, there is an Xbox podcast that started at 8 o'clock. Phil Spencer and co are talking about the future of Xbox. We've already seen a couple of the stuff that will come out. There are 4 games been confirmed to be mixing onto different consoles. What are your boys' thoughts on that?
I think we're going to get the second tier of Xbox exclusives branch out. So you're not going to see stuff like Halo or the Indiana Jones game or stuff like that go further. But I think that second grouping, which is like your Hi-Fi Rush and stuff like that, which is a little bit smaller in size of fan base on the Xbox platform, so they might need that extra boost. I could see them giving that out to Nintendo and potentially PlayStation. Xbox has spoken in the past, they've tried to strike a deal up with Nintendo to bring Game Pass to Nintendo. I think the bigger concern for a lot of people is, if you can get all of the Xbox exclusive on PlayStation, does that then mean Xbox back out of the hardware market and leave PlayStation the opportunity to charge £2,000 for a console when you don't have an alternative?
Well, that's why everyone panicked, didn't they, when they first were talking about this? Everyone's like, "Oh my god, Xbox is going to stop making Xbox," and it's like, I don't think they will.
No, I don't think they will, but I do feel like they will. I think they are. I think everything Xbox will eventually be streaming. Obviously, you can do it on Samsung TVs. Their main selling point is Game Pass. It's the best value in gaming, in my opinion. I think
they stole that idea from me in an Xbox in an Xbox party chat 10 years ago. I literally described Game Pass before they even announced it.
Okay, well, if you reach out to Phil Spencer, mate, see what we can get done in compensation.
Have that recording somewhere.
I mean, there's been a few times where like PlayStation have been like coming to PlayStation trying to make like their exclusive, and Xbox, but yet they're also over here, by the way. Like Xbox has been quite, at least over the last few years, has been very much less about trying to have a console war and been more like gamers should be able to play their games anywhere they want.
Right, just going back to that hardware comment, I've just seen a tweet that's come out based on this podcast. Xbox President Sarah Bond teases the next generation Xbox will be the largest technical leap ever. Mentions new hardware options in the Series X, S line coming out this fall, potentially a handheld console. There's some exciting stuff coming out in hardware that we're going to share this holiday. We're also invested in the next generation roadmap. What we're really focused on there is delivering the largest technical leap you'll ever have seen in the hardware generation.
What if they tried to take a page out of like Steam Deck and Switch? So like you have like a combo thing?
Yeah. The Xbox have made no secret they want to make gaming accessible everywhere. But they also want to cater to all of their gamers. And there are a lot of gamers who will never ever need to be able to game on the go. What they want is they want a little box, they whack on their desk, they plug it into a 4K monitor, and they play the newest games at 60 FPS 4K without having to worry about anything. And I don't think they're going to stop catering to them. I think they're just going to give more options to other gamers, like we saw with the Series S, having less storage, but hyper mobile for cloud-based gaming and stuff like that.
Well, the more options, the better, realistically. And I think that is Xbox's. That's just what they want. They want to get the games out to as many people as possible. I can quote Shinobi on X, who has just said that Diablo 4 will be coming to Game Pass at the end of March, and Starfield and Indiana Jones will not be part of the games. So, Xbox fans, even though we don't condone console wars here, you have got stuff to look forward to and gatekeep. Don't worry, don't stress.
I don't think that's going to be forever. I genuinely think there comes a time when like Halo and everything is just, they're like, it's day one Game Pass, but it's on everything eventually.
Yeah, I can definitely see a point where they get to where Game Pass is so large. They're like, it will be day one on Game Pass and on Xbox, and then 6 months down the line we'll open it up to platforms.
Well, it's sort of similar to what Sony are doing now. Obviously, say 6 months to a year after a Sony first party release, they do come out on Steam. Obviously, we've got God of War, Horizon, the Spider-Man games.
Yeah.
Somehow, Ghost of Tsushima is somehow not on Steam yet. That's beyond
waiting
me. But exactly, it is just a waiting game with Sony. You never know how quick they're gonna come out.
My biggest issue with Sony is their lack of backwards compatibility, and we just get so many remasters from them, from like really recent games.
Yep.
What I would like to see, although it isn't necessarily the best thing, is I'd like to see Xbox use their position of power they have now that they own the rights to COD, to just put a bit of pressure on Sony to play a bit nicer. And if they can use the power they have with COD, and hopefully by building a relationship with Nintendo, that might be enough to just kind of get a little bit of movement. Because, of course, they'll have their own selfish motivations for why they want that, like having massive Sony games on Xbox platforms within a year, within 2 years. But I do think it's better for gamers if they can just buy whatever console they want and play every game they want to play.
Got a big one. Do you think we'd ever see Game Pass on PlayStation, as in
No.
Xbox Game Pass on PlayStation?
Game Pass will be the one thing that is only ever on an Xbox platform or PC.
Yeah, because you got PlayStation Plus or whatever.
Yep.
Right, it's just there might be some deal for games that were gonna be exclusive to Game Pass. They then have like also on PlayStation Plus as well.
You might see crossover in some of the games available, but I think they will just kind of come to an agreement that we're not going to sell our subscription on your platform, and you're not going to destroy us in other ways.
Yeah, it's pretty valid. I have both subscriptions, PlayStation and Xbox, and I can, even though I am leaning towards the Sony side, the Game Pass is much better, and I don't think it's remotely close.
It's so clear. Game Pass is phenomenal.
So yeah, we'll have to see what else comes out of that podcast. I don't know how long it is, but I'd assume it is still going on. So in next month we'll have to do a quick roundup of that. Any final closing points on the Xbox news?
Thank you very much, Josh, for keeping us up to date and apprised of all things gaming.
Yes.
Make sure you go follow Josh on all of his socials. They will be down in the description down below. And we'll see you next month, Josh.
Sounds good to me. I would like to give a final shout out. Greg Miller and Stella Chung are hosting the DICE Awards tonight on the night we are recording, which is Thursday the 15th. You two probably checked out the Game Awards back in December. There was a rather alarming lack of acknowledgement and celebration of the devs, but I'm 90% sure the DICE Awards tonight are going to be much more celebratory of those. So that's always good news, which we'd love to see.
Awesome. Love to see it.